Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Alan Graham from Counts Real Estate to get some real estate tips, and today we're going to talk about condos.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people always wonder about condos, Don, and they approach us with personal investment opportunities there, and they're also looking at personal use for them. And
yeah,
so,
you know, and I asked you beforehand, is it a good investment? It is not a good investment, because we've toyed with the idea for a long time. Always wanted one. No one needs one, I suppose, unless you're going to live in it year-round. But
right, and there's a lot of special things that you have to know about condos, and that's why it's really great to get somebody that's familiar with them. First of all, you can't always borrow money on a condo. Some condos, because of their HOAs or homeowners associations not being financially sound, lenders won't lend on them. And so there's a specific group that lenders check each month, and they can actually move on and off the list of those that are acceptable. There are other issues that are there, lawsuits and things like that, but you need to check with that first. The second thing you need to do is most people come down from Alabama or Georgia and they want to use their lender. They got a buddy they play golf with, a banker that's going to give them a special deal. And 99% of the time that never really works out because the lender doesn't understand all the nuances of lending on a condo and what has to be verified by the
so you really need somebody to finance that thing that understands the ins and outs of condo ownership.
Yes, and we've got a list of local lenders, and it's always best to use a local lender in that that understands that keeps up with the HOAs to make
know
sure,
the local market.
Know the local market, correct.
Yeah, and they know who's naughty and nice.
There you go.
Now, you know, if you, let's say you're a homeowner, you've got a family, maybe you've got a little money, and you want to get a condo and say, well, I'd like to have a place here on the beach, so maybe we have a place to, you know, go for a week or two a year, or when relatives come in from out of town, we have a place to offer them. Could I get that set up in a way that that condo would pay for itself as a rental all the other times?
That's a great question, and the reason it's a great question is there's some rule of thumb numbers that we use. Typically, a one-bedroom unit on the water will generate between $14,000 and $16,000 a year. A two-bedroom will generate between $22,000 and $26,000 a year, and a three-bedroom will go as high as $40,000 a year in gross income. For you to have that unit to break even, the rule of thumb is you need to put 40% down. The other side of condo lending that I didn't get to was that you can't do it like a 30-year mortgage you have on your home. It's going to be a 15-year, it's going to be an adjustable rate, and you're going to have to put 25% or more down with a condo. So people assume that it's a 30-year mortgage and they calculate it on their own, and they say, I could easily make these payments, but when I throw the 15-year scenario in and 25% down, it kind of changes their thought process.
So yeah, I imagine it would. You got to come up with a pretty substantial down payment, and I guess the more you can put down, obviously, you know, the lower your payments will be in the final equation.
Right.
But will the rents cover all that, I wonder?
The answer to that question is if you put 40% down,
it will.
And if you don't take out the prime time of rental, the 4th of July or the big holidays when rents are their highest, the answer to that question is yes, they'll easily cover that. My suggestion would be, if you're just thinking about it, would be to get into a smaller one-bedroom or a two-bedroom, and that acts as a hedge against inflation for the future. Let's say you hold it for 5 to 7 years, and the market has a tendency to go up. Right now we're increasing at about 15% per year on the condo prices from the oil spill days. You have to understand 2010 set the low bar for that. So we're on the rebound at 15% per year for most condo projects. So in the event you want to buy 5 years from now a big 3-bedroom, you've got the opportunity to sell your 2-bedroom, and the impact on your pocketbook is not as great in 5 years because you've got equity built up through appreciation in that unit.
You know, you had mentioned early in the interview something about the HOAs being solvent, or at least being above board somehow. How do you choose a condo complex, and how do you know if a HOA is up to the job?
Your lender here locally always sends them what's called an estoppel letter 6 months prior to any real estate deal, and that estoppel letter requests information on past due accounts, current assets, and how much they've got in reserve for replacement. The one thing you don't want to do is walk into a condo, buy it, and then have a special assessment because they haven't had their reserve for replacements maintained at what the state recommends the reserve for replacements are.
So with certain thresholds that are required of a HOA, and if they don't have them, you want to steer clear of those guys.
That's exactly right.
Alan Graham, I learn something every time you come on the show. Thank you so much for coming on and getting us smart on condo ownership and shopping.
Thank you, Don.
We'll be right back.